Okay, let's wait for this stream to start. It looks like it's going to start. So I wanted to stream real quick a little thing about the iPhone 7 home button while I'm waiting for some data to finish burning. I'm 4 for 4 on my rush data today, so this has turned into a good day. So let me talk to you about this iPhone 7. So this is an iPhone 7 that we were working with the other day, and if you remember, the home button is not working. So nothing happens with the home button, and that's because we were fucking around with it and shorted the line called blanking enable to ground on purpose to see what would happen. And what happened was it kind of seems like it blanked the ID of the home button so that the device no longer recognizes the home button. So we have no home button. And I was inspired to show you this little workaround from watching Michael Oberdick all day. So Michael Oberdick has recently started a YouTube channel, so go check him out and you can see his fuckery with the iPhone 7's home button issue. And I'm going to come back and do more iPhone 7 home button analysis, but we need to get another one that has a working home button, unlike this one. So where we left this one off was we knew the home button didn't work, so then we did a software restore. So we did a DFU restore to see if that would bring back home button function, and it did not. So what would happen if you had an iPhone 7 where you simply broke the native home button? So it was broken and doesn't work anymore. If you had the device was working, everything was fine, it was your phone and you were using it, you probably would go to Apple support community or you would go on the internet and you'd probably get some advice to, well, just rule out software and restore your phone. So if you restore your phone, then you get to this screen. So this is the hello. And in order to get past this screen, there's nothing you can do here without the home button. So let's say you had the phone, you were using it, you broke the home button, and you enabled assistive touch on the device, then you could use the device and it would be perfectly fine with assistive touch, and it could still be a phone. But then when you go to restore, you get to this screen, and this is a problem. So what Michael did today in his screen, he was really frustrated with one because how do you get past this? So he called some Apple stores to say, hey, what do I do here? My home button's not working. I honestly don't want to fix it. I just want to use assistive touch. But how do I get past here back into my phone? Especially if you're, like if you hit update or something and you had your data on here and you need to get back into your phone, what do you do? And I was surprised that the Apple stores told him, the first one told him, you're screwed, buddy. You're out of warranty. You got to do a full out of warranty swap, $349. Bring her on down. The next guy said, we can just change the entire screen. So the Apple screen replacement, which would include a new home button that they could then pair with their Magic Machine that only Apple stores have, they could do that. The AASP said we could take it and send it out for a screen swap. But in any of those cases, it's going to be more than $100 just to get your phone back, just to get back into your phone. So that's kind of a rip, because this right now seems like it seems like a brick. So I wanted to just share with anybody that finds themselves in this situation that you can do the simple workaround that's the oldest trick in the books. What is the number one advice for any problem with any electronic device that there is? Have you tried turning it off and on? Ding! So let's do that. So home button doesn't work. Hello, nothing works. I can still turn it off. So I can go to slide to power off, slide to power off. All right, so now I've turned it off. And let's give it a second to go to sleep, and then we'll turn it back on. So we'll do the old, have you tried turning it off and on? So let's turn it back on. Wake up, mofo. I think when Michael noticed this as well, that when it does have any sensor problem, the device seems to be really, really laggy, like it's probing for the sensor. So it takes a long time for it to turn back on, and it takes a long time, apparently, for it to turn off. So now we'll let it wake up, and I'll check to make sure this stream is actually working. Let's see. I can see some chat. Oh, there you go. So there's Michael Oberdick. So I was watching him earlier today messing around, which was really fun. So his video that he did today has now turned into, or his stream has now turned into a video, so you can go check him out. He was trying to simulcast to a lot of different platforms, and my advice was just stick with YouTube, and you'll get some subscribers and get a following. All right, let's see. Yeah, recently got a call from a friend saying her iPhone 7 button stopped working after her screen cracked. Yeah, exactly. You know, so if you don't want to go to Apple, or you can't, or you don't want to mail your phone in, or you don't want to be without it, you could just still go down to the local guy and get a new screen. But if your home button's not working, then anytime you update, you're going to be in this boat. So I think kind of a general knowledge about how to get out of this with the good old have you tried turning it off and on trick. All right, so here, it came back to life, and you don't really have to be that quick about this. This will stay like this for a while. But now I can go ahead and click through the setup wizard, because it wakes back up not at the hello screen. It wakes back up at the setup screen. So you can kind of click through here. And if I click through, I'll ultimately be able to set this phone up. Maybe not with the SIM in here that I have in here right now. Yeah, it doesn't like that SIM. It doesn't like that SIM. Let's take that SIM out. But it's so funny how, you know, like this is such an obvious thing now. Oh, it's gonna let me go. It said okay to the SIM. Forget location services. Screw that. Yep, we're gonna set up Touch ID never. We're gonna add no passcode. Yes, no passcode, that's what I said. We're gonna set it up as a new phone, and we are not gonna iCloud lock it. We're gonna set that up never, don't use. Agree. Don't use Siri because home button's not working. We're gonna customize the home button never, and we'll choose a view. Next. Get started. And now we're back into the phone. So there you go. This is just the little thing I wanted to share with you guys. If you have a customer, let's say that you're a shop and you were to tear or damage an iPhone 7 home button. Then when you boot the phone up, you'll notice that home button doesn't work. And so you may be tempted to rule out software and just restore as sort of a matter of process. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But then you'd find yourself in this boat where when the phone, when you come back around and the phone's sitting there, it will be at that hello screen asking you to press the home button that doesn't work, and then it kind of seems like a brick. So this is a great way to kind of get yourself out of trouble. And then from here, you can go ahead and enable assistive touch. So if you go to General Settings, Accessibility, and then you can find your assistive touch and turn assistive touch on, and now you have a home button that you can work around, do sort of a workaround. So if you're a shop and you have damaged a customer's iPhone 7, you could use this little workaround to be able to give them back their phone so that they can, know when to pick up their kids that day without really fucking them. And then you can kind of go deal with it on your own by getting them a replacement iPhone 7 and kind of giving them a loaner or some sort of a loaner phone so that you can then send their phone in to Apple, which is the only way to get home button to work again, is to go back hat in hand to the man, Big Apple, and say, hey bro, sell me a screen replacement for $129 or whatever it is for iPhone 7. So there you go. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because that sort of came up today with this iPhone 7. And I'm still kind of waiting on some data that I want to have burned before I leave today. So let's see what's going on in chat. Let's just hope Lewis doesn't start streaming right now. Lewis is busy right now trying to turn his cats vegan, and it's not going well. So I think he's unlikely to stream that, but I don't know. Did you disconnect the battery completely? Yes, I did. But it doesn't really matter because I was then soldering a wire to intentionally short a pin to ground. But that brings up a good point. If you were changing an iPhone 7 screen and you didn't disconnect the battery, then if you were to put the new screen on, now we know that simply shorting the blanking enable line to ground will essentially blank your home button. So that wasn't what we did here. We were just experimenting. But it creates a scenario where you can imagine that failing to disconnect that battery at a standard screen swap, then if you're kind of plugging in the connector and you don't get that perfect fit and you accidentally short that one pin to ground, then that could ruin that home button. Even though it's structurally and mechanically fine, it seems to be that it sort of recodes or blanks out its identification that the board uses to recognize it. And we'll figure out more about this as we go along. I want to do another stream where we get another working 7 home button and kind of do some more voltage testing and kind of see what's going on with that. All right, let me pop out my chat window so that I can see that. Let's see. Stream offline. Really? Well, I can't help you with that. Jessa will stream today. How are you today? Shitty. I have been fucking sick. Link to that channel. Type in Michael Oberdick. You can see him here in the chat. So there you go. So Michael Oberdick got a subscriber already. There you go. I'm in that situation. What's the workaround? Try turning it off and on. There is no solution to make the home button work again. You're just going to have to enable assistive touch. Michael says, I didn't even do it on purpose. The phone died overnight and made me stumble upon that idea. I see. Drill on the home button. That's right. There you go. Your videos make me improve my skills. That's good. I've never trusted Apple. I've used Samsung mostly. Someone in China must know how to reprogram pair of these chips. I'm surprised AliExpress hasn't had anything appear yet. It looks like it's harder than you think, and my guess is that I know that the calibration machine is connected to the Apple servers, so it would be something like saying, well, why isn't there an iCloud lock easy solution, a little thing China can sell you to just rewrite that? And that's, I think, largely because you have to access Apple's databases, and that's the case for the pairing of the home button. Always has been, is that machine has to be talking to GSX, and that's hard to do. That's hard to do outside of someone on the inside, I guess. Let's see. Hey, somebody gave me $5. Thank you, somebody who gave me $5. I don't see who that was. It just says F. Thanks, F. Let's see. So is the home button still fucked after the power cycle? Yes. If the home button is damaged, that's it. Curtains. If you can also share the solution for iPhone 5S red screen, red screen is I've never heard of that outside of something to do with proximity, ambient light sensor, front camera, that stuff. Amazing iPhone 7. All right. Aren't cats carnivores? That's what I've been saying this entire time. I was like, well, that's a core value for a cat, the carnivore thing. Have you ever tried to fix iMacs, just connectors and things like that? Lewis must have streamed for too long. That LCD trip must have done a number on him. Yeah, when I went to bed, I was very sick, and I was just praying that this boatload of melatonin and cough medicine would make me go to sleep and not actually like cough all night long. But usually after everybody else is in bed, late at night is usually when I end up chatting with Lewis. And so he was out at the gym, and then the next thing I know, he's got a 4-hour rant on nothing. Wow. Let's see. He said the stream was a trip. Well, he doesn't do drugs, so. I'm 95% that we shorted the home button line on one by doing that. Yes. So I think this is unfortunate, because I think there's going to be a big problem with this iPhone 7 home button suddenly dead. And most people are going to think, well, I guess I tore the cable, some micro tear, or, you're transferring the cable. In my case, with the iPhone 7 that I have here, I never touched the home button. The home button itself, I never transferred or removed. I've never unscrewed it. It is as it came. So there's really no chance that there was any cable damage. All I did was take the screen off, and then at the connector soldered a wire, because we wanted to sort of see what happens and start experimenting. But experiment number one failed. Experiment number one was, what does this line do? Let's take it away. Let's short it to ground. And then after that, the home button was never recognized again, despite restore, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's see. It seems dangerous to me to work on something while it's powered up. Well, there's no other way for you to measure voltages, so I don't know what to tell you. I think we might be onto something, Jessa. What if the blank enable pin really wipes the Touch ID? All we have to do is find the programming pin. I kind of think, now that it's funny, now that this happened, it didn't occur to me before that the pin called blanking enable. Now, blanking, that sounds really crystal clear. Blanking means erasing the identification. Maybe that's not true, but of all the places to start, I think maybe picking the one called blanking enable might have. We should have gone with Turtle and his buddies. I'm really excited. I'm going to do a live stream when I get my next iPhone 7 that has a working home button with some of my buddies that are the sort of higher thinking folks in the iPhone land that are going to come on stream with me, and we're going to kind of have a think tank and experiment around. Ben Duffy had a great suggestion that's probably true, where now that the home button itself is no longer simply a signal that's a 1 or a 0, pressing it is a 0, leaving it unpressed is a 1, and it's a very easy mechanical signal like in all the other phones. Now that has gone away, and that the capacitive touch is the home button, now that there's a chip there that's the capacitance converter that turns a fingerprint or a touch into a digital signal that can be graded. That's a really different architecture. And so where does the power for that come from? And likely it is the same power that also powers the fingerprint sensor. So it would make a lot of sense that the way this would work or be designed would be at boot up for the CPU to ask, are you the fingerprint sensor ID? Are you the fingerprint sensor that is not some fake one? Are you the original fingerprint sensor? And for the fingerprint sensor to say back, yes, I am. My name's ABCD. And for then the device to respond by enabling the fingerprint voltage and then listening to all of the fingerprint feedback. And that without that checkbox, then it's not going to enable that at all, in which case then you're also cutting power to the home button chips, which are the capacitance converter chips. So that would make a lot of sense, that might be how it's designed. But that's what we intend to kind of play around with and figure out. All right, let's see. So basically, we're still at square one for the home button. Home button is unlikely to be solved. One idea, I love this idea. It's not very practical, but it sounds really fun. If you look at the iPhone 7 power management chip, a lot of times throughout iPhones, you'll find places in the design that are kind of like appendixes, you know, like tonsils and appendix, things that were important for design and troubleshooting, but are not really part of the final design. So these will be debug connectors or pins that are bypasses that could have been used to eliminate a function during design and troubleshooting. So there's one in there that appears to be under the power management chip. There appears to be a kind of appendix for the home button function. So during design and troubleshooting, there probably was a way to separate out this new home button function and to just kind of have a simple on-off home button to use for troubleshooting the rest of the phone. That in the final design, that pad doesn't go anywhere now. But in theory, you could take off the power management chip, which would be a fucking bitch. And then you could run a wire into that ball and pull the wire out, which would be a fucking bitch. Put the chip back on there, and then you would have a wire that, in theory, it would then work like a traditional home button, a 1 or a 0. It's either open or ground. And then you could, in theory, maybe find a way to route that down to the home button connector and make it work with something like an iPhone 6S home button or something like that. This is just a sort of a fantasy, and it wouldn't really be a practical solution anyway, because that amount of effort wouldn't be a feasible repair just to get around your alternative, which is paying $129 to Apple. But I think that also would be kind of a fun thing to experiment with. All right, what else did we miss here? First, you need to drill a new headphone jack. All right, sometimes iPhone 5F, after restore, fingerprints stop working. Have you any idea? A lot of times the 5S fingerprint sensor will just require a couple of hard resets and then it will start working again. So I'm not sure about that. Do you think there will be a way to get another home button to ever work? No, I don't. No, I don't. So basically we need someone in China to break into Apple's headquarters and steal data off their servers and the machine. I guess so. We had an agent try that. He got caught coming home on a United flight. You may have seen it. Oh, was that what that was about? I see. Let's see. Melatonin essentially resets circadian rhythm. Yes, it does. And if you take more than 1 to 3 milligrams, it's pointless. Yes, it is. And will only cause unnecessary drowsiness unless taken for the purpose of being an antioxidant. Okay, sure. So Michael Oberdick says that he looked at the home button that also bricked his iPhone 7 and he did not see any micro tears or damage to the flex or the button itself under the microscope. So therefore, that kind of lends credence to the idea that if you are, I think in their case, they're testing LCDs. So that's a lot of connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. And if you connect a home button onto a device without disconnecting the battery and you accidentally short a pin to ground that can blank the home button, then that's going to be a big problem. Let's see. With melatonin, more doesn't equal better. That is true. This is the new 6S backlight. Yes. How much money have you dropped on this research so far? None. So we know the home button uses Touch ID to detect a button press. Not really. But it's pretty clear it doesn't care about Touch ID authentication unless Touch ID has been enabled. No, I don't think that's true either. Hey, what's up, Ben Duffy? I was just talking about our think tank. I still need to get an iPhone 7 that we can play around with. So we can't do it today. This is my theory as well, but it's a cover for Apple Polite Fuck You. Yeah, it was really fun watching Michael call the AASP. One of them said that the home button was glass and that was integrated into the display. Need deeper hardware work. replace CPU baseband EEPROM and program a new serial number on the NAND. That does not help bring back a home button. Like, even with Touch ID disabled, the sensor still reads a fingerprint. Since it doesn't necessarily care about authentication, surely this can be bypassed with some kind of software. Who knows? But there's no reason to tie the function and Touch ID together in the signal other than to be a dick. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's necessarily to be a dick. If you think about what would be the simplest way to build a system where you have two chips doing two different things, that it would be for them to share one power supply, and it would make sense for you to cut off that power supply if you wanted that button to be silent because it didn't match. So you wanted to have fingerprint sensor grayed out. You know, it would be the simplest way to do that. In order to make it not be like that, you would have to build a lot of extra shit. You would have to build a second entire bypass way in order to just power the home button capacitance converter chip. And you know, that's extra work, especially when your mindset is that this is never going to be an issue, because if you break your fingerprint sensor, you should go to Apple and get a new one. That's how they think. They don't consider that there's any alternative to that. So this is not an issue for them. I don't see them as trying to be dicks. I see them as trying to be simple. The simplest way to do it is the best. And as long as there's no negative consequence in their mind, there isn't. If it breaks, go get a new one. We sell new ones. It's $129. It's free if you are in warranty. It's fine. I don't see them as thinking like dicks. All right, let's see. Hi, Jessa. I too discovered if the phone is running 10.3.1 and the button is damaged, it will boot loop. When disconnected, it boots fine. That's interesting. The damage is a small crack on the Sapphire. Ridiculous. So that's interesting. So on 10.3.1, I don't think this one I did the other day, and I'm not sure it was on 10.3.1. It might still be on, let's see. I will check. Yes, I know you don't like my sim. I mean, it's kind of a good thing for repair to get more notifications. So this is on 10.2.1 from the other day. So on 10.3.1 and the button is damaged, then apparently it will boot loop unless you boot the phone without the home button connected at all. Interesting. No headphone jack. All right, what else? This is complete BS. So they found a way to avoid third-party repairs without having to face a lawsuit. But what about all the iPhones sold in places where there's no Apple stores? Why monopolize repairs? I hear you. I mean, I think that it would be, it would be great if we could come up with some sort of alternative workaround. And we may be able to do that. We may be able to tease apart and find a way to separate these two functions. But I don't know. I want the same as your microscope. Great. If you want to support the channel, then you can click in the long description that I paste below every one of these videos. Click on any of those Amazon links, and it will direct you to the equipment that we actually use here. Or you can check out our new supply store, which, by the way, I'm adding some things to tonight. In fact, one of these just came in. I'll show these to you. So now we're going to expand my supply store from having two products to now having 5 products in the iPad Rehab Supply Store. So let me show you what we're going to sell now. These just came in. These are my favorite DC power supply battery cables. Now there's a lot of different varieties of these that are out there, and they really are all kind of shitty. But of all the kind of shitty ones, these ones are my favorite kind of shitty ones. So what I like about this particular cable, I like that the plug-ins here are not screws. Let me see if I can find an example of the cables that I don't love. Surely there'll be some here in my dead cable bucket. Surely there will be. Yeah, here's some in my dead cable bucket. So this is the kind that I don't like. The kind that we're going to be selling. We'll just kind of do a little compare and contrast. So the ones that we're selling have better connectors. These connectors are held by a screw, and that screw tends to get loose and these fall off. And I was looking in my dead bucket like this, you know, here's one that just came off. And then the actual connectors themselves, the ones that we're going to be selling have a control box so that you can at least see if it's getting power. And we'll compare these connector ends. So on the ones that I don't love, these connector ends tend to get really frayed. Let's look at these under the microscope. Let's see. Microscope. Oh, that's kind of messed up. Hello. All right, so here's, you know, I use these a lot, and this is what these are the ones I don't like. And you can see that they are, look at this one. Look at the poor iPhone 5 one. Poor little fucker. Look at that. He's barely hanging on. So I have to resolder these constantly. The ones that we are going to be selling are hopefully a little bit better. They at least have some protection. Oh, this one doesn't look that great. It needs to move over. So they're kind of the same. They're hand soldered, but they at least have a little bit of protection on top of that. So like I said, they are just varying degrees of shittiness. They're all shitty. These are less shitty than the other ones. And then the other thing that I like about this is that this set that we are selling comes with one of these little kind of battery charger boards. So I use this a lot actually since we got these cables, and the old ones didn't have this at all. So it comes with a micro USB that I can plug into this little battery board. And now I can use this as an external battery charger. So I can set my DC power supply to 5 volts. And I can take this battery, let's say this is one of my test batteries and it has, you know, gone down and it's like 3.5, and I'd like to keep my test batteries able to power on a phone. So I can plug this in to the iPhone 6 connector, wherever it is, 6, there's the 6. Right, so that just sort of snaps in, and now my DC power supply is charging this battery. So I can charge this battery while I'm working on some water damaged phone for data recovery, which I actually did today. I was working on a 5S, and my 5S test housing, the battery was a little low. So I just charged up that battery while I was working on the phone, and then I could use my test housing to power up the battery, to power up the phone natively. So that is exciting thing number one, is our less shitty iPhone battery connectors for DC power supply. The other thing that I think is cool is, where did it go? The other thing I'm adding to our store is my USB ammeter. Now this is something that is an essential tool for everyone, not just repair shops, which you should have on every fucking charger in your shop, but also at home. And we sell these to customers. So this is, the reason I picked this one is because I like it to be flexible. Some of the ones that just look like this, if you plug it into a charger, you're constantly having to like really try to contort yourself to even see it. So I like this one, and it plugs into a any kind of charger, and then you plug your charger in here so that it is in line, and you can then charge up a device. Let's see. And you can understand the current draw as the device is consuming current. All right, so here's my personal iPhone that I'm charging, and now we can read on the meter. Of course, it's putting out more or less 5 volts. That's what the standard charger voltage is. And now you can see that this phone is consuming 0.81, 0.83. It's consuming just about 1 amp, a little less than 1 amp, which for an iPhone 6 is totally normal. So that tells me charging is normal. Now this is useful if you have like a charge, you know, like one of these Android phones or something where you have to get the connection exactly right in order to have it charge. So it may look like it's charging, but it's actually not. So if you can read out, am I actually getting an amp versus 1/10 of an amp, then that kind of helps you to know what's going on at the charger. So Christy doesn't ever fix her Note 2 that she uses with a piece of shit port. All she does is she always uses one of these USB amp meters so that she can tell when she's got that perfect connection, and then she just sort of sets it down and walks away, and that's really useful for her. All right, let's see. I was gonna work on this this other thing. Maybe I still will. I'm not sure. Not sure how long I want this to be. All right, what else is going on here? Reading the chat. What if, says Rico, what if we read the unique identifier on the original Touch ID, even if it's damaged, and write it to a replacement button? I don't know how the architecture works, so I don't know whether or not that would work or not. Now that was something that was an idea when there was in Error 53 days, where this got a lot of international thought, and it was possible to, I think, to identify, you know, what communication bus the information was on, but it didn't really seem possible to replicate that signal. And I just remember thought going into that and no output. So I'm not sure if now that it's more significant of a problem than Error 53 was, then maybe we can kind of revisit that. I'm not sure. Michael Oberdick says, but surely there had to be some digital signal in the other models. The signal is now complex. Bill Green says, if it has a unique address, it can be found and burned onto a new unit, just like the NAND. I would like to see if someone can see what's on the data line and redirect it to a magic box to reburn the address. Yeah, this is the kind of fun stuff that I think we should all do together. Sounds great. Let's see. Touch ID notification didn't start showing up until iOS 10. Off topic, ZXW tool or laptop schematics. One you pay a subscription to, the other you pay once. Both provide schematics. Which is best? You know, I don't know. ZXW is completely different. So ZXW is not a path to get schematics. It happens to have schematics. It's a tool for showing you easy navigating of a board view. All right. I have the same cable. Love the way you say they're all shitty. They are all shitty. I resolder mine all the time. Yes. Jessa, don't add anything to your story yet. Inbox me. Yeah, we need to talk about the website, Ben. You're not going to like it. If the phone was previously GSM unlocked or IMEI was clean, then it could have relocked with update. That's something else. All right. Chris Long has those cables, and he loves them. Fantastic. Don't set your DCPS 5 volts for a battery. Why? Set it to 4.2 and set the current limit to 100 milliamp as the voltage is less than 3, and 1 amp if the voltage is more than 3. Fuck all that. This is for test batteries. I mean, for a real battery, absolutely. But this is for, hey, can I get this power on for a second? I just attached clips for a power supply for 4.1. I did test before I did that to see if the the board would have some built-in logic for current limiting, which I thought would be really cool. It does not. Surprise, surprise. I thought that would be pretty awesome though. Let's see. It does not have its own controller. No, it does not. I was hoping it did, but it didn't. But it is important to limit your current to no more than I just put it at 2 amps because that's what a normal limit would be for a charger. And I understand that I'm fucking the battery if it's exceptionally depleted, but I also don't really give a shit since these are kind of test batteries that are just here to power up a device for data. Can you put on a new button and then jumper connections from the old to see if it will work? No, it's a completely different architecture. Jason looked at a iPhone 7 at a Verizon store yesterday that looked a lot nicer than my 5S, but not $30 a month for 2 years nice, I guess. Cats are obligate carnivores. A cat cannot be a vegan and live very long. I will pass that along. I assume by obligate carnivores that there's a reason. I'm not sure what that reason would be. In fact, I think that's probably BS. iPad rehab. Do you know of any way or anyone know a way around iPhone is disabled after someone shorted out the FPC on a 6S? So iPhone is disabled. I repaired backlight FPC, but now it's disabled with no time limit. Take it to Apple. In my experience, if you have a disabled phone and you force it to recovery and you update it, if you if it's on a computer that it's been connected to before, that will meet one of the handshakes for trust, and it will give you a crack at the passcode. So I would attempt to update it, and if possible, I would attempt to update it on a computer that it has connected to before, and hope that I would get that, the update. The other thing that you could talk to Lauren, and Lauren has his trick with taking a active SIM and kind of putting that in, taking it out, putting it back in, that will kind of prompt it to go to the passcode. But I'm not sure if that still works or is old or what. All right. It does turn off the light when they are shorted. Okay. Let's see. The schematic led me to believe that the home button communicates with I2C and SPI, which are old and open protocols. I have a video of my thoughts on the matter. Yes, the schematic does say that, as all the other home buttons are as well. Don't set your power supply to above 4.2, or else one day one of the batteries will blow up in your face if you forget to unplug it in time with just current limiting. I think that would be kind of fun if that happened, so I'm going to ignore that. Let's see. iPad rehab. I updated it, but it's never been connected to a PC. Still disabled. Well, that stinks. Cats aren't good at digestion of plant fibers. Neither are people. When we change the home button for iPhone from 5S to higher, the fingerprint will not work. You can't change a button from a 5S to anything other than a 5S if you want it to work. I tried the SIM trick, no go either. Guess it's fucked. I can't think of anything else. If it's disabled. Let's see. Where should I look first when the phone charges at like 0.1 amp? Well, I don't know, Alexis. But speaking of that, I think I still have a few minutes left on this data that I am messing around with. So I am going to spend those few minutes on my good buddy. What's this guy's name? Finch? Andrew Finch? Remember that? Anthony Finch. Anthony Finch. I don't know if you're watching the stream today, but we're going to give your board another shot because I felt a little bit bad because I worked on this at the tail end of a super long day when I was really just getting sick and cold medicine was wearing off. So I'm going to give you another shot here, especially because Christy, it's really important to Christy to see if this board can get a solution just because she's got a particular interest and she's in Croatia right now. So we will put a little bit more effort into this one. Also, I felt a little bit bad for Anthony Finch because this guy was on a live stream the other day. He was just watching, and he said, "Hey, how about you fix my board that's there right now?" And it was in my queue of things that Jessa needed to look at that needed a consult from my team. So I said, sure, what the heck? And that reminded me of one of my other fantastic ideas I'm really excited about, and so is my team, which is our YouTube live experience idea. I think this is a great idea. Lewis thinks this is the dumbest idea ever and that it's not going to work and that I'm retarded. But I intend to prove him wrong, and I need your help to prove him wrong about this idea. Here's the idea. I think it would be fun for YouTube live experience to be a solution to all the folks that email me or send letters or call the business, and everybody wants to know if they can do some kind of private tutoring, or could we do some kind of Skype call, or could I help them with their problem, or people that kind of just want to talk. And I say no to all of that. So that is not something that I have bandwidth to do, and I'm not open to any of that. However, one thing that I thought would be kind of cool for the channel and for streaming would be to kind of have repairs that we do on live stream, which right now are just random. Whatever happens to be interesting or at the top of my queue, that's what I'll pull for a live stream if there's something that I think is noteworthy. But what I think would be cool would be to kind of have a repair that we're doing on live stream to be more of a vignette of a full story of what's the backstory on these repairs. So we kind of wanted to combine those ideas to create this YouTube live experience concept where anyone that is going to send us any repair, which is usually a shop, sometimes DIY, especially data recovery, that is a fan and would like to kind of be on the channel, what I'd like to do is to create a separate thing, separate from your repair, called the YouTube Live Experience, where you would mail in your repair as normal, and that would go in the standard repair queue, and that would go ahead as a standard repair. But when your repair came up, if you bought the YouTube Live Experience, then we would set up a Skype session, and I would call you, and we could see you on Skype on the live stream. So you could watch your actual repair in real time, and so could the rest of the world on YouTube, and we could chat. So we could have, kind of it would be kind of your time to ask any questions personally that you wanted to ask. You could interact with the live stream folks, and you could see kind of our thought process as we go through your repair. Maybe it's something that you worked on and struggled with, and we could kind of walk you through our approach to that same repair. Maybe it's a data recovery that you want to see exactly what happens and know how it gets solved. And I think that that's totally great idea. Because I think that we have enough confidence that we would be willing to repair anything live. It's, if you walked in the door, I would say pull up a chair. There's no secret sauce here. I would approach every repair exactly the same. And not every device is repairable. So that just like on any of the rest of the queue, not every device ends up repaired. Some devices get a lot of time and they end up as no fix. And so that's just sort of the reality. And I think this would be a really fun thing to do to kind of get the backstory on how this device came to be. And then I think it would be fun for everyone to watch, especially for data recovery, whether or not, the exciting drama of whether or not you can actually get this data. Because a lot of times, like even before I started this stream, there was one that I just did right here that I had thought was no fix, and then I had this idea and I went back to it and I ended up getting the data. And the one before that from today, it, has the sort of desperate letter, I just can't stand to lose all these pictures. And you'd like to sort of see that person and have them be a part of the process, good or bad. So I think it's really a great idea, and my team thinks that it would be fun. Lewis thinks that's the stupidest thing he's ever heard of. What a total flop, and he would never do it in a million years, and he thinks that it's going to fail. So, and then after the repair, then that kind of becomes a video that's sort of a souvenir that you can share with your friends and family. And, it's your time to be in front of a lot of people. And, it's kind of fun. All right, let's see what you guys think about the YouTube live experience. Let's see. I think that dude Gilan is a video breakdown on the iPhone 7 button, but good luck getting anyone to translate that stuff. Oh, he's all right. He tries. He tries to speak English. He watches the channel, I know that. Jessa, you need to buy a bad battery and cable tester box. Yes, I have that. That is on my my plan as well. Cats use plant fibers to help expel hairballs. Okay. Have you tried both laptop schematics and ZXW tool? Yes. I know they both provide board view, but laptop schematics sounds better since it's who cares? Just you don't need it. You don't need any of that shit. Just fucking Google the schematic. Non-refundable $100 fee to watch you fix a board that you often record anyway. I don't often record anyway. I'm not like you. I don't fucking record everything I ever fucking fix. Look at this stack. I mean, everything on here. The only board that has gonna get on stream is Anthony Finch. Look at this entire table. None of these are on stream. Oh shit, he's here. Fans are touchy. This is a good fucking idea. This is a good idea. Help me prove him wrong. This is a great idea. I think it sounds super fun. This will end with you in someone's basement. No, it won't. I might have told them that you were trying to make your cat vegan. BlackBerry likes it? Seriously? All right. This is interesting. Clinton always smacks Barry and beats her to get to the food. Now Barry gets to eat because she loves this stuff. And Clinton is not a fan of it. Clinton is going to go out the fucking screen and he's going to eat squirrels. Let's see. She ate the entire dish. She's going to become Rosie O'Donnell. No, she's not. That's mean. Jonathan James. I would sign up for that. There you go, Jonathan James. Sign up. We need to make this happen. I think this is a great idea. Didn't we talk about this in Tennessee? Did we? I don't know. Was that long ago? They can share the stream. Exactly. You advertise for Toyota for free, but you charge fans $100 to watch you work on a phone, whether or not you can fix it. Yes, I do. Because it's the YouTube live experience. And here's why. I think that that my team, especially on Tuesday nights when we do our team meeting, that the strength of our enterprise here is the personalities of the folks on my team. They're fucking hilarious people. And I think that especially Sunday, and Jean and even Sharon, that they could have a lot of fun creating entertainment by having someone to talk to, by being able to ask questions and to sort of pull interesting stories out of people at the same time as doing a repair that they're particularly invested in, giving them a chance to ask their personal questions, which there's really no other avenue to do that I think this is a great idea. And I think that even aside from the repair, I think that you could probably sell a YouTube experience outside of repair, where you just said, hey, if you want to do a public ask your questions kind of tutoring session, is there anything that you've struggled with? Is there any piece that you're trying to really hard to figure out that you need help with that you want to talk about? As long as you're willing to share the experience publicly, then I think it's a good idea. I think it would be strong for the channel and interesting to do that. So if you want to buy a YouTube experience and not send in a repair, then we could do that as well. But that would be kind of the only rule. All right. Tarman, how are we doing? This hurts. Tax, Toyota, and Vice. I don't have any problem with Vice. I think they're good people, and I love all the articles that Jason Kobler has written. I do want him to send me back my oscilloscope, though, because I need it. All right. Matt McKenzie, you have some amazing talent, Jessa. Love watching these videos when the live pop-up shows, and your great ideas. Great work. Lewis, I think you misheard. When they place an order, they can pay an additional price to get personalized steps on how it's fixed. Yeah. That's right. I removed the J tag. Pay up. I think this is a good idea. I know that you hate it, and I kind of love that you hate it, because I think it's fun to do things that Lewis hates. You don't like the Skype idea? Why? I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great idea. We'll see. We'll see. I lost my space. Here we go. So found out today the guy who helps me on the weekend at the local flea market got arrested for child pornography. Well, I guess you run a tight ship there, Chris Long. It's a good idea, says KK. That's right, KK. Let's see. Sounds good. I don't get why you wouldn't possibly love my idea. I think it's fabulous. Let's see. Fans are sickos. No, they're not. People are people. I like people. I don't believe in that. I think that everyone has an amazing story. Something in their experience is totally interesting. You just have to pull it out. And I think that can create really compelling content. And I think that this could be a really strong idea to give someone the opportunity to be on YouTube. They can share that with their friends. They can learn something, and I think they're going to have a good time. I see it as entertainment. It's kind of like buying a ticket to a show. The plan is not to have these long, boring, dodgy streams, but to engage and interact and to pull stories out of people and to make people laugh and to kind of combine entertainment with repair. That's what we're doing, and I think this is a great idea. They're going to rage when they see $100 to remove C50202RF. I don't think so. I think that if you're a fan, no one's going to want to do this unless they're a fan. And so if you're a fan, then the value for you is getting to have this sort of personal interaction and ask all your questions and chat and kind of get to know people. Like when you come to the course, everyone that comes to the course, I get to know them personally, and it's hilarious the entire time. I mean, the course is a super fun time for everyone. So I recognize that not everyone can come to the course. So it's almost like your chance to just sort of pay an admission fee to kind of join us for a night of repair and kind of sit with us and be a part of the team. I think that's a good idea. And I think that's really separate from the repair. It doesn't really matter what the repair is. KK says, I would pay for it. Way to go, KK. I'm dyslexic, so no chance to talk with you, but love your work. Hate otherwise some things I would have liked to ask you about. Well, sign up for a YouTube experience. You don't have to, it doesn't matter if you're dyslexic or not. Even worse, if you don't fix it and they paid to watch it. Why is that worse? It's totally separate. It's an experience. I think this is a great idea. You're not going to be able to convince me differently. You will go from being on a pedestal to being in their trunk. I disagree. I think it will be totally fine. I think that part of when something is no fix, I have an enormous amount of confidence in my ability to not fuck things up accidentally. I'm not going to fuck things up accidentally. So I believe in this idea that if you send something here, especially if I know that you are going to be watching, then of course you're going to get the best repair that you could possibly get. I believe that. It's incredibly arrogant to say that, but I really believe that. And I'm going to be, maybe less aggressive or more cautious, or keep things a little cleaner if you're watching. I mean, that's good for you, for your repair. And I think that if something is ultimately not repairable, then I can walk you through why, and that you can really understand that, and you can see the thought process and feel the confidence of thinking no stone was left unturned. And that's a lot of these data jobs that we get that end up being not recoverable. When I can tell them exactly why, then it makes sense, and they feel like, okay, I tried, I did everything that I could to get my data back. And there's something that's sort of peaceful, an element of peace of knowing that you tried your best. There was nothing else that you could have done, that anyone could have done to get your data. And so you're at peace with it, even if the answer is no. That's what I think. I don't think anybody's going to rage. I don't think so. You should call it the Please Bro series. Oh, I don't know. I'm adding it to her channel now. What? I don't know. Michael Paradigm, you're all about gloom and doom today. I don't even know you like that. What? Louis Rossman is always gloom and doom. Are you kidding? That's who he is. He's the bad cop. I'm the good cop. That's just the way it is. Sunday is interesting, says Michael Oberdick. See? All right. Okay. That's what I would do. I would let people pick your repair. I don't know about that. This could work for other stores, but end customers, this seems like a nightmare. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I think the live repair experience, says Jonathan Dix, is a good idea. You have to be entrepreneurial these days, and if an idea could work for you, yet not stand to cost you much to try, if it fails, more power to you. That's right. Jonathan knows what's what. It's an idea. I mean, in this sort of day of YouTube revenue changing, drying up, then in order to, you have to find other ways to promote your channel and to replace that. I think that this is a great idea. I think this is a great way to diversify, and it may not work. It may be the dumbest thing, and everyone that's saying I think this is a good idea is just lying to my face. Totally possible. I get that. Maybe no one would ever sign up for this in a million years, but maybe they will. And if they do, I think it'll be really fun. And I think if we did a few that were really fun, then I think that it would kind of continue on. So who knows? There's lots of ideas that are out there. And for me, when I see ideas, I think this one feels like a strong idea, and I'm going to do it. That's what I think. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. Only for customers or people interacted with. No customers. Yes, customers. That's the whole point. Here's the other person that's, someone is a fan, so they watch all of this stuff. They're not going to send me a C5202 phone. They better not, because they've watched enough of the channel to solve that on their own. So it would be something that they're struggling with, which is fine. And then the alternative would be we still get a lot of nervous Nellies. I mean, I remember back to one of my favorite repairs ever, which was from this guy in Missouri who I remember him sending me a single line email that said, "Are you real?" How do you answer that? Yes. Yes, yes, I am real. And he was nervous about sending an iPhone 5 for pry damage. He didn't believe that anyone could fix it. And he thought this was just, you're going to ship your phone to New York where they're going to like take it into some back alley, some chop shop, and you're never going to see it again. And, that's silly, but that's what he thought was going to happen. So he sent us the phone, we fixed it, we sent it back, and he was so amazed that it actually worked as described. You send your phone, we fix it, you get an invoice, it goes back. That I remember he sent us, he was a beekeeper, so he sent us this box that we opened up the box, and it had honey that he had made from his bees, and it had the weirdest stuff that you would think to ship. His wife had made homemade fudge, and he had made homemade cinnamon rolls and shipped them. And it was like, wow, it was just this funny thing, because he was just so excited to find a real person that does what they say on the internet, and he was just so blown away by that. So we still have people in that mindset that kind of think all of these reviews are fake, and that this channel is all April Fool's Day stuff, and that that they have this nervousness about sending their phone. So I think that having them have an option of saying, there's no secret. If you would like to watch your phone being repaired, there is a mechanism for you to do that. I think it would be great. I think that's how we are with people that walk in the door anyway. Every single person that comes in the door, come on around, let's look at your charge port under the microscope together, chat. That's just how we roll. That's our style. Not customer stores. I had a really tough no image on an iPhone 6 Plus the other day. If I would have definitely bought the YouTube experience just to find out what the fuck I did wrong. There you go. See? Lewis hates to have fun. Lewis has a narrow definition of what's fun. That's what I think. Tarman says, this Saturday I'll be going live while fixing my mom's deer-damaged car. Panel swaps, spot welding, and other little things. Is that what you're talking about, or only electronics? I'm not dumb enough to try to YouTube live experience and charge people to pay me to figure out shit like microwaves that I have no idea. But I do think crowdsourcing stuff would be fun. I think working on things together is also fun, but no. Jeffrey Dahmer was a people and an everybody. Jeffrey Dahmer had a story. Yes, he did. And most people that Jeffrey Dahmer interacted with are fine and probably have an interesting story now in their lives from the experience. Will the YouTube experience have a time frame limit? Yes. I think that we would kind of have these outcomes for a YouTube experience. One is you would get sort of what we call a standard kind of first pass repair. So most devices that come to us will put time into, and in that first pass, it'll either be fixed, in which case, yay, it's fixed and we're done, or it will be definitely not repairable. There'll be a reason. Well, this can't be fixed because of X, Y, and Z, and therefore it's not feasible to repair, so we would call it no fix. And that's category 2. And then there's category 3. Category 3 is this may still be repairable, but the amount of time and focus that anyone can put into one repair has a sort of finite lifespan that you need to kind of put something aside and come back to it with fresh eyes. So this would be a case where you may drill down on something and you find the solution to one problem, but then there's a completely second problem. Or it may be something where, you get really, really detailed about one thing, and it turns out that doesn't solve the original problem to begin with, so you have to do more research. So those we'll call second look repairs, and that's what a lot of these ones that kind of collect around me are things that got a first pass but need a second pass. And a lot of times if you kind of put something aside and then your mind will subconsciously think about it over time, and then when you come back to it, a lot of times you'll see something right away that you missed the first time. So the YouTube live experience would cover the first pass repair attempt, and the time would be something like it would be a minimum of 20 or 30 minutes and a maximum of an hour. Probably we would make it be an hour. That would be my guess. Betting Jessa sells a YouTube experience before Lewis sells chips off his reels. Boom! That's pretty funny. I should put the YouTube experience in the iPad Rehab Supply store and see if anybody buys it. I don't want to know the story. Why don't you want to know the story? All right. Also, will it take a basic knowledge for the subject? No, because if someone has no experience, it would be a disaster. Oh, I don't agree with that. I mean, I teach my children, they have no idea. Anyone can learn how to fix this stuff. I think that if you really understand how something works, I mean, I taught a guy from Korea that spoke no English, and his feedback was, this was the best class I ever took in my life. I don't speak Korean. It was completely done by pantomiming in Google Translator, and it was great. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. So I don't believe that you need to understand anything in order to get a basic problem. What a short is, you can make that clear, I think. All right. She's the cutest kitten in the world. Device Expert says, I like the idea. See, got another fan. So what is the bypass? Just locked in. For iPhone 7 home button, that you can't access the device anymore because the home button's not working. There's no way to fix the home button other than send it to Apple. But you can get back into the device after you restore it, and it says press home button, by the old trick. Turn it off and then on. There you go. That's the trick. All right. Good morning to Paul Daniels. Nice to see Lewis alive today. Yes. I think a YouTube experience for electronics goes along better with hardware. Yes. I can see doing that with software unit testing I'm working on, and be like, so test is still running, open another beer. Yeah. Would that be extra on top of the repair? Yes, it would be separate from the repair. So this would be, you can send a repair or don't send a repair. This would be the experience of interacting and kind of pulling up a chair and sitting in the shop with us while we do your repair. Or you could buy a YouTube experience and say, fix somebody else's thing. Pick some random data recovery I just want to watch. We could do any of that. So YouTube experience, YouTube live experience is different than the repair. Let's see. No fix helps us learn through the mistakes. That's right. I spilled coffee all over my own desktop. There you go. $2 from Christian De Leon. Thank you, Christian. All right. I keep losing my place. Where is my place? Where is my place? There we go. Louis Rossman, but she dies by a few years. Can't eat the grass. Francisco Perez, do you think, would you ever be able to bring your school to other states? Distance learning I don't think we'll support, but kind of going on a road trip, I could see that in the far future, especially international. I think it would be fun. I'm not really sure. A lot of the course is really heavily dependent on the incoming queue because we fix real problems. So it would be a little bit difficult to manage. It also really depends on having state-of-the-art equipment, and hauling that around is a bitch. I did at one time early on kind of get quotes on what would it take to move this stuff on around, and I don't know. If we got to a point where we no longer could get people to come out here, then we would probably be more open to it. But as it is, right now it is April and we are booked through July, so I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think $2 for all the help you've given me. Thank you, Christian. I have a shop with mobile accessories and maintenance. Hung your photo at work. Jessa's selling like Apple. Buy the experience. Well, that's right. I think it's a good idea. Louis Rossman, when you die, would it be ironic if you were reincarnated as an Apple certified tech? That would never happen. Let's see. Michael Oberdick. I was going to stream again, but never got back around to it. Chris Long's going on vacation. So am I. Chris Long, I'm going to choose Jessa over you. That's right, Paul Daniels. It will work for sure, says Michael Oberdick. Give the customers a near in-person experience. Transparency sells. And well in 2017. iPad Rehab, can you help me understand one thing? Why aren't you at home and relax and get better? Just wondering. Because I am waiting on... I don't want to leave my data jobs like just burning overnight, because tomorrow is the kids' Easter egg hunt at the park. So I'm gonna not be in the morning. So I want to make sure I did 4 data recoveries, and those sort of take a long time to actually pull everything off. So I want to make sure that gets done. So I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for that to chug along. Whatever floats your boat, we all got to make a living somehow, and you and Lewis's YouTube videos are educational, if not hilarious at time, entertainment, yet some insight to repair. Yeah. iPad Rehab, I can send a broken phone in Matryoshka. Let's see. There's a whole lot of what happened last night, I don't know. So I sent in an iPhone SE to Apple for repair. Turns out they needed to take the shield off in order to find some minimal corrosion. In the process, the tech who removed shield also removed chips. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Let's see. The triquint chip along with a bunch of components. That's really odd that they would do that. That sounds a little weird. So if you use another home button from another 7 Plus and boot up the phone, Assistive Touch will automatically pop up on the setup screen. If it's an active phone. But if you've restored the software, then no. So that's how you get locked out. All right, my iPhone 6 restarts sometimes. What's the problem? Probably the battery. All right. Let's see what else is on here. I would like, says Michael Oberdick, a YouTube experience for how to pick up chicks. Where do I send my $100? We can help you with that. There are a lot of chicks here. We have a lot of experience in getting picked up, and we know what works and what doesn't work. So we could absolutely do a YouTube live experience on how to pick up chicks. In fact, I was thinking about that anyway. I was thinking I really wanted to do the how to get a girl video. And then I thought, how to make that relevant? I thought it would be fun to call up my my nieces that are in their 20s and like talk to them like the real deal, you know, for all ages, how to pick up a chick. Or you could go to Fortune, because those guys are really mature. They'll definitely know over there. That's pretty funny. I feel like the YouTube experience will end up on Urban Dictionary with different meanings. Maybe. All right. Don't do it, Michael Oberdick. Mature pickup. Yes. They should be paying you for having your picture on their desk. Oh, speaking of pictures on desks, where's my picture? There we go. Here's my picture. Here's my desk picture. Fell off. Jean knocked it over. But that's okay. I'm gonna put this back up now. Where should I put this? Let's see. Well, it was really funny when we were talking about this idea that Sunday was talking about how funny it would be to get backdrops, like a fireside chat. I think that would be hilarious. I think this is going to be super fun. It's gonna be like a reality show. It's gonna be great. All right, Jessa, the best remedy for a sore throat: tequila and lime. Lots of lime. I don't know about tequila. I don't know. All right. So can someone explain to me who Michael Oberdick is? I hear about him all the time, but I don't have a reference point to put it all together unless it's an inside personal thing. No, Michael Oberdick is a real guy. And, you know, so Michael Oberdick is someone that I met at the very first ever practical board repair school when we started this, when Lewis and I taught it together. So I think that Michael was a Lewis fan, and so he showed up at the first course, and he brought an employee, and so he came to that course, and then since then he came back a couple of times. So I guess he came back, and then he brought a different employee. So he's been back quite a few times. And so now Michael is very active with the Right to Repair movement, and I believe that he's on the board of repair.org now. And his, you know, he's just, like I said on this other stream that we did together when we were in Tennessee. So he was with us when we were lobbying in Tennessee, as was Chris Long from the chat, as was Lewis, as was Larry Johnson from Handheld Rehab, and as was Austin Robinson. So we were just hanging out, and so I ended up doing a live stream with Michael Oberdick, who I am a fan of whatever he sells, because in this entire time that I've known him, I see him constantly working. He's always got a laptop. He's always thinking. He's always researching something. He's always, you know, trying to, he went into this entire LCD refurbishing business in China, and he had these massive orders going out, and then he decided that wasn't the thing to do, and then he, you know, goes in this other direction. He gave a great talk at the ERC conference on how to score bigger contracts. The worst thing about being in a repair business is the customer. So wouldn't it be great, instead of dealing with 1,000 customers for 1,000 devices, you dealt with one customer for 1,000 devices? So he had all of this advice and expertise on how to go after these businesses and government and school contracts and things like that. So he's got a lot of fantastic ideas, and they all come from the fact that he never dates anybody. Never seen him ever talk about a girl, never seen him go out on any kind of date. So because Michael Oberdick is dateless, you should buy all your shit from him. That's just the way it is. Yeah, there's Larry. I was there. Yeah. I need a picture of Sunday for my desk for my next stream. That would be hilarious. That would be really funny. True story about that iPhone SE. I called the customer relations to tell them the tech ruined my board. This is an Apple technician. And every time a senior advisor opens up a new repair, it gets canceled. I love Apple. Let's see. Can you give me a source for quality replacement screens? eBay is too much of a gamble. Yes, it is. Never buy on eBay, because eBay and Amazon are where the shitty, swept up off the floor in China screens go to die. Never buy there. So we buy screens. You could buy them from ElevateSupply.net, Michael Oberdick's company. We buy from Injured Gadgets and iFixit, domestic. But best is for you to find somebody in China that you can develop a personal relationship with and trust them. Let's see. Overcooked steak. Michael Oberdick has his priorities in order, I guess. That was an excellent response. I'll invite him to dinner. iPad Rehab. He's been talking about Sunday all stream. Well, Sunday is not here right now, or else she would definitely come say hi. With that type of work ethic, dude's going to be single for life. God, I envy him. I'll have to go watch the videos to complete the pictures. Yeah, so there's one on here that was my Repair Shopper. Because Michael really uses Repair Shopper a lot more completely than I do. So there's that. I'm starting to feel bad for Anthony Finch, because my my motivation to fix this really seriously dwindling. Let's take a look at it. So where we left off with this, is that even on Microscope? Where we left off with this is it really just kind of doesn't charge. And remember how it had the replacement Apple power management chip? Well, today I replaced the replacement Apple power management chip. So I just put a new, jeez, I gotta get out of here. I just put on a new PMIC. It's already had a new TriStar, and it's had 3 or 4 ports. I dug up this area today. I took off a capacitor and a little diode to ground that are on the connector detect line. So its problem, and let's just kind of check in on this since I did give it a new power management chip and make sure that it still actually does what it was doing. The problem with this thing is that it really doesn't recognize USB at all. And that seems pretty solvable. So now that I've kind of messed around with it quite a bit, now it's really in danger of becoming one of my pets. I need to get my pet collection of my pet boards working and charged up, and I think it would be fun to kind of make like a shadow box display of my pets. My boards that have been on fire or had a hole in them or whatever. All right, let me dig up my known good battery. Where is my known good battery? It was definitely out here earlier today. I think that I decided that the native battery was probably okay. All right, we'll just go with that. I don't know where that is. All right, so let's see what happens if I plug it into a charger. Anything? All right, so I see an Apple logo. And let's look and see what the charger says. So the charger says 0.12, so 0.12. It's 120 milliamps. Oh, and it went even lower to like practically none. So it's not charging. So it's should be charging at, 1 amp for an iPad mini, and it's not. So let's see what happens when it boots up. And if it still is the way that it was, iPad rehab, a wise woman once told me, don't get too invested in fixing a device. Oh, I agree. Here's the thing. You can get invested in fixing a device. Oh, the screen doesn't work. All right, so it does not have the lightning symbol. Wake it up. So it can see, it can register the battery. It says 81%, but it does not have the lightning symbol. Here's the thing. You can choose to go down the rabbit hole, but you don't want to go down the rabbit hole without conscious thought. So right now, it is, for me, it's kind of Friday night because I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm going to an Easter egg hunt. I feel like shit. I'm waiting on this data stuff. So my work for today is done. I've already done a bunch of jobs today, and they were really successful, so I feel good. Unlike the other day where it was a bunch of no-fix and rabbit holes. But I solved like one thing that had been in my no-fix pile. I looked at again and solved it. So I feel pretty good about what I got done today. So I'm choosing kind of for fun to go down the rabbit hole here. Now I know this is a hobby. This is not something that I'm going to get paid for. This is not about getting paid at all. This is just for the love of fixing something, and for the general interest. So I'm interested to see if I can fix this, and I'm willing to donate some time to that. So as long as you have an attitude of choice, I know this is not profitable, and I'm not really, what else I would be doing with this time would be kind of sitting on the couch and going, my head hurts. I'm choosing to distract myself with this instead, and that's okay. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's look at the schematic then. Because the problem here is that when I plug in USB, it doesn't detect it. So why not? So let's see if we can figure that out. So let's find where the iPad mini schematic is, and let's see what we can figure out about how connection detect would probably work. So let me get to that, and then we'll pull the screen over so that you guys can follow along. All right. Let's go to the screen, and hopefully you can still hear me. So here's iPad mini, and we're going to start by looking at the dock connector itself. And what we're looking for is any clue that might tell us how this device is supposed to be detected. So how does it detect USB? I don't know. Let's see what we can figure out. All right, so here at the connector, we have to just guess which one of these is probably the line that the Mini uses to detect, hey, something's been plugged in, and therefore show a lightning symbol and then engage charging. Probably not speaker stuff, probably not the power line here, definitely not these speakers. So our choices are between these sort of paired lines, DP1 PNN or DP2 PNN, and this other one, this unique one, connector, detect. I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to kind of put that these DP2 and DP1 are paired data lines that send data between the device and the computer. So what I care about is detecting. So I'm going to pick that line. So let's see, where does this line go? What can I learn about that? All right, so here's the line comes from the charge port, and it goes next to, there's a diode here that would give it a path to ground. That makes a lot of sense since it's external, so static could get its way to ground without damaging everything else. And then there is a capacitor here, and then I can see there's a connection between this line and this VCC main branch called VCC main dock. So this resistor there needs to be there. That resistor is going to be essential to the working of this data line. So I need to have that 100 kilo ohm R5705. It has to be there. This guy could fail by becoming a wire to ground, so I need to make sure the line isn't short to ground. This guy also needs to be there in order to have a path. Otherwise, I would just have an open circuit. And then it comes along and it looks like it gets a name change. So from here, this guy gets renamed to these two equivalent lines. This one is power management, accessory detect maybe? I don't know. I'm just making that up. That's my guess. Let's follow it. Where does that guy go? I don't know. Let's find out. It goes into, where does it go into? It goes into Allison, the power management chip. So we have accessory detect A, and there's also accessory detect B, which is separated by this 220 kilo ohm resistor from VCC main. That probably also needs to be there as well. All right, does it go anywhere else? No. All right, so then let's go back to that same spot and follow the other line. So this one just goes straight to the power management chip. So it's a path from the dock to the power management chip, and that's it. But let's see what this one does. So let's see, follow that, copy, paste. Where do you go, buddy? All right, this goes to our favorite chip, TriStar. All right, so this is a line that's probably going into TriStar. I would guess that this is an important line to TriStar that's saying, hey, TriStar, wake up. Hey, buddy, somebody wants to talk to you. Wake up. Wake up, bro. That probably is really important, and therefore TriStar has to be functional, because TriStar is the charging kind of negotiator chip that's going to set up all these permissions. So this line needs to get to TriStar, and then TriStar has to act on that line in some way. So what is TriStar's output? We've talked about this in other videos, where one of the charging outputs, at least in the iPad Air, is this one. This OVP SW enable line is an output of TriStar that goes to the charging chip. I don't actually have any idea where it goes in the iPad mini. Let's find out. I've never been down this road before in iPad mini. It goes into, it goes into the gate on this essentially transistor that's going to connect. This is the 5-volt charging voltage. It's going to make that connection there, and then let's see where that's going to go. That's going to go almost certainly to the PMU. Let's follow that. So this signal, knock, knock, hello, open the gate, is going to connect these two lines. So this is the charger voltage. It's going to connect that voltage and feed it through this hose, which goes to the power management chip charging center. So now if I look around this area, I can see this is charging. So this is the charger voltage coming in. This is the charger voltage coming in. And we have VCC main and the battery, and we have battery charging happen. This is the workhorse of charging. So in the iPad mini, it's a function of the power management chip. So what we know here, we're going to be missing this signal. This signal here is going to be missing if we don't have, where else? If we don't have this guy working, and it's going to be missing if we don't have the TriStar signal. Hey buddy, start charging, open up the gates, connect these guys. I've got to go ahead to start charging. All right, and then we've got another one over here, and we can follow this as well, and this is going to almost certainly lead back out to the connector. All right, so that's charging. Let's go back to, we got here by searching for this OVP SW line. So let's see, here we are. This is where we came from. So this is TriStar. So now we know that this line is really an important output of TriStar. So how did we get here? Connector detect. So connector detect has to come in here and ultimately tell TriStar to kick on this signal if everything else around here is also getting a thumbs up. So why are we not getting our connector detect? So it could be that this, let's see if this goes anywhere else. Why are we not getting that? What happened to it? All right, so here it is coming in somewhere else. So now this connection detect line comes in from the charger, and it goes to this little chip. This chip is turned on by a branch of VCC main called VCC main accessory switch. So that's the power for this chip. And we can see that this guy plugs into a pin called accessory detect. And then there's a separate enable switch. So coming from somewhere else, general purpose in-out accessory switch enable. So this probably comes from the CPU. We could follow it and find that out for sure. So this guy is an enable signal that is going to ultimately produce this output here, PP3V3 accessory FET. I mean, this is just my guess. That's how I'm reading this, and I've never looked at this before today. This is a little bit different than setup than it is in other devices. All right, so in order to have this generated, this PP3V3 accessory power line generated, this guy has to be working. And in order for him to be working, he needs to hear that there's been something that the connection is detected. So this guy, you might have everything good up until this point, but if this dude is not working, then you're not going to have this guy shoot out his power line. And this is accessory power. This is a power line for TriStar itself. All right, so now we've kind of identified a whole bunch of players, and it starts to get to be really confusing, and that's okay. You can kind of keep it orderly by working very methodically. So you would start at the beginning. The beginning would be the charge port, and you would just start asking questions. First of all, do I have a short to ground on the connector detect line? No. All right, do I have any kind of open line, anything that's broken, damaged, or missing? And the answer is no. So then you can say, what is the voltage on that line, and compare it to known good. And you just keep following as you go that way. So what this led me to earlier today was noticing that some of these little MOSFETs were in the area of TriStar. And so then that kind of created a potential mechanism where these little dudes are experiencing heat when you're changing TriStar. So it's possible that there could have been some kind of separation of the chip and the underlying pads. Same as touch disease or anything else. So I thought briefly on, well, how could I just kind of create like a little jumper solution in order to bring a voltage into TriStar directly and skip all that. But then I decided it sort of got to be really complex with these data lines going to the CPU. So here's where I am now. Let's look under the microscope and I will show you where we have kind of left off with this. So where we are now is, here's TriStar. This guy is TriStar. And then we're missing one of these little dudes that was important. And I was measuring a voltage on, this is a no stuff resistor here. And that voltage seemed to be missing when I tied those things together. This guy, I think, needs to be replaced. And this guy, I did just replace. So this area, it's right near TriStar, which has been changed a few times now. I'm not confident that those guys, maybe they got nudged or something like that. So putting these guys back is where I am with this right now. So that's kind of how I found my way there. So who are these two guys? So let's look up these two guys so that you guys know who they are. Who are we talking about? So we're going to have to go back to page 1 board view to look them up. And they are right around here. All right, so we are talking about U1350 and Q1301. So we're gonna go, let's look up Q1301. All right, Q1301. All right, what does he do? So it's the same thing. Whenever you see this symbol, you're looking at source, drain, and gate, and you don't really need to worry about what type, P channel or N channel. I don't think any of that's important. I keep this very simple conceptually and just think if conditions are met at a gate, then source and drain are going to talk to each other. So this is the no stuff resistor that is not there. So that means there's a separation. When I bridge these two things together, I lost one of these voltages. So there's a problem somewhere. So the deal is if conditions are met at the gate, then you're going to have the PP3V3 accessory is going to become the 3V3 accessory FET. And this is the line that goes on and ends up ultimately showing up at TriStar as a power line. So that guy's important. So we need this guy to work. So you could just say, well, fuck all this gate stuff. Let me just bridge these together. But then it started getting a little bit more complex as you start going back down the rabbit hole and looking at what do the rest of these things do. And this guy, I believe, comes from the CPU. So this could also still just be a CPU problem. All right, so that was one of them, Q1301. And the other one was U1350. So let's look up U1350. Who are you, U1350? All right, and we've seen this guy before. So U1350 is another dude where here's our buddy, connection detect. This is ultimately goes all the way out to the charger. So connection detect through the charge port, and it comes up the pike, and it plugs into here at accessory detect. And then this guy's job is to receive that same enable signal and ultimately pass through and shoot out this 3v3 accessory FET. So it's that same line. All right, so this guy also seems to be important. So both of those guys were in the vicinity, and they were both just so adjacent to TriStar that I felt that they could have a separation, a bridge, a short, been nudged, or something like that. So that's what led me to them being relevant to the problem and in the vicinity that I'm going to kind of rule them out. So remember, I've already gone and replaced the power management chip, already replaced the charge port, And I've already tested some resistors and things that measure as normal. So this is kind of where I've been led. All right, let's see if anybody's even possibly following this, because this is a little bit more detailed than we normally go. All right, let's see. Let's see. Fixing graphics card sucks. Yes. Will you ever talk to Duke again after those quality GPUs? Of course you will. Let's see. That doesn't make sense. Off topic. Off topic. OVP, over voltage protection enable when low. Yes, that's what I think. Something else. All right. Okay. So let's just go ahead and see what happens if we replace these chips. And then we'll get the hell out of here, because I'm pretty sure this data is done burning. It does seem to take forever. I'm going to get these two things off. One of them's already off. So we're going to take these off with hot air. And see what happens. I'm starting to get a headache, and I am going to want to go sit on the couch and just sit there and say, my head hurts. All right, yeah, that thing seemed to be barely hanging on by a thread. Great. All right. Let's tin these up. Okay. Now we gotta harvest some chips and, unfortunately, reball them. All right, so I've got another board here that I think still has these left. All right, let's grab these off. And really, really, really try to remember the orientation. So the dot is facing what is down to me. Man, these boards suck up so much heat. Big old iPad boards. It's like a MacBook almost. Might even have to turn my heat up. In fact, I probably will. Because I don't have patience for that shit. There we go. Come on, mofo. There we go. I don't know if I can even read that one. I guess I'll do them one at a time. Okay, let's see what we can do to get some balls back on that guy. What hot air station is this? It is the JBC JT1A, which is my favorite station ever. Yeah, see how that's all oxidized? Let's get that shined up. Ready for some new balls. Alright, that's gonna take new balls. Alright, let's see if we can grab a little stencil that fits that pitch, which actually seems kind of big. That's not it. That's not gonna work. Where'd you go? Stay put. Gotta tape my tape down. Alright, what else might work? Are you gonna work? Nope. Not you either. That's not gonna work. Are you gonna work? Nope. Not quite. Nope, you are not right either. Alright, let's see if we can spend like another minute, otherwise we'll just put them on, put balls on by hand, but let's just try another one. Do you have something that will work? How about this one? Yeah, you work. Alright. So let's just throw some paste on there and make him have balls. How does the Quick compare to the JBC? Well, the JBC is far and away better than the Quick. I mean, come on. The JBC is a $1,500 piece of equipment. It does not compare in any way to a sub $300 piece of equipment. I mean, that's just crazy. And the difference, the practical difference, would be in the sustainability and reliability over time of the heat. But if you can afford a JBC, get a fucking JBC. I mean, this is insane. If you can't, then you can, use the Quick. It'll be fine. But there's certainly no one would be dumb enough to say that they're the same. That's crazy. Alrighty. Make the balls using the soldering tip. No, I don't like to do that. That tends to be a pain in my ass. Which stencil were you, little guy? I forget. Where'd you go? Oh yeah, this one. There's my chip. Isn't he cute? Alright, we're gonna make these balls great again. And hopefully it won't just fly away. The Quick has a 1-year warranty. Well, that's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a I don't know, it's kind of like a flute. If you want to play the flute, you can play the flute just fine in your high school band with the standard, $100 high school band flute. It will make the note F. You will be able to play it. It will work. It will make sounds. You can tell what the tune is. But if you're going to be in a concert and you're a professional, then the standard school flute is not going to have that same quality of tone, and it's not going to have the same richness and ease to play that the professional $1,800 flute is going to have. That's just the way it is. This ship looks particularly beat up. And I'm pretty sure that the dot is up there. But I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to go with it. Oh, Fixin' Mom is here. What up, bro? Fixin' Mom, I'm surprised to hear you say what up, bro, because that's not how I talk to the other moms at the Moms Club. Fixing Mom says, I would be surprised if the Quick lasts longer than a year at its price point. I would as well. You're a piercingly loud cough. I can't help that. Let's see. I mean, I think that the Quick is fine. And it's probably better than the Hako 801 that I started with. But once you go black, you never go back. You know how it is. Yep, there is the dot. I can see that, so that's good. So Fixing Mom, what are you going to do with your kids for Easter? Are you going to make them Easter baskets? Are you going to go on an Easter egg hunt this year with your kids? How many kids do you have, Fixin' Mom? I'm curious. For some reason, I kind of thought you ran a daycare. I feel like one of your kids is named Jason. Is that right? Dance, little chippy. There you go. Nudge, nudge. Alright, perfect. Alright, let's go grab that other dude. Let's see. Fixin' Mom, don't bad talk the Quick or you'll go in a timeout. Pretty sure. Famous last words. That's pretty funny. Let's make Fixin' Mom a mod. Fixin' Mom deserves to be a mod after watching kids all day. Alright, let's see how I can possibly recognize this mofo when I take it off, which is going to be hard. Let's clean it off and hopefully we can read it. And it looks completely black and has absolutely no markings. That really looks utterly black. I guess there's a dot right there. Okay, that's the best we can do for that. Alright, let's grab this bitch. Fixing Mom. I wonder if Fixing Mom feeds her kids a vegan, all-natural diet. I bet she does. One of these days I'll grab the Quick, maybe at the you know, at the next course when we kind of have to do some moving around of some stuff and compare it. But I mean, just in day to day, like I don't feel like using the Quick when I can use the JVC. That's why I have like 3 or 4 JVCs. Alright, I hope I'll be able to continue to see that dot. I doubt it. I'm not going to have any way of knowing how this orientation goes. Definitely not now. Great. Alright. Let's see if we can... Fixing Mom is Lewis? What? No way. Lewis is Lewis. He wouldn't troll me. I know that's for sure. He wouldn't troll me. He wouldn't lie to me, that's for sure. Alright, I really hope that I can see that dot again. I don't know. Reverse trolling. I don't know, it seems pretty straightforward trolling. Alright, the likelihood of this working out seems incredibly low right now, but just for the sake of completeness, we are gonna go ahead with it. There you are, little fucker. This looks like a total Lego. This looks like the yellow brick Lego. This is what I mean when I say boards are made of Legos. Look at that. That is completely a Lego piece. I would show how to put balls on by hand, but that would require braiding that chip, and I'm not going to do that. Alright, where is... Jessa, are you feeling any better? No, I am not. No, I am not at all. And the medicine is about to wear off. Alright, let's see. Are you a match? Are ya? Yes. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, little buddy. Let's focus that. Alright. iPad rehab. You might see the tweezer marks where you lifted it off the board. We'll see. More than likely, I'll see absolutely nothing. I'll have to guess. And then the 50-50-90 rule will apply, which also applies in college test taking for true-false questions. If you can narrow a question down to 50-50, 90% of the time you'll pick the wrong one. The good old 50-50-90 rule. Everybody loves that. Alright, let's clean that off a bit. Alright, now let's watch. Let's have you guys check out my balls. Beautiful balls. Alright. That is as focused as we can get. That looks pretty focused. That's as focused as we can get without saying focus, you fuck. Where is the little dude? So tiny. Such a tiny little piece of nothing. Just a piece of pepper. I have no idea where the dot is on that. We are going to have to guess, and it's going to be wrong. It's definitely going to be wrong. All right. Let's get my Lego on a piece of tape so that he doesn't blow away. There you go, buddy. And now let's make your balls nice and juicy. I feel like that has a good chance of blowing away entirely. He's starting to blow away. There we go. And now we get to guess which way he goes on. That's not the right board. This is the right board. All right. This is going to be a pretty big guess. Let's clean him off. At one time you could see maybe a dot. I don't know. Let's see. Show me something. Show me something. Absolutely no clue. All right, so now we have to guess. Which corner is the one that I thought kind of looked like a dot earlier? That's tough. Is it this corner or that corner? I think that. I'm going to go with that. It looks like maybe there's a shade of a dot there. That's seriously hard to tell. Let's see. Larry likes my balls. Thanks, Larry. Everybody likes to have nice balls. I really can't tell which one I might have thought was a dot before. We're going to go with that because it is late. And it is time to get the fuck out of here. And go be miserable at home. Alright, well it's on there whatever way it is now. Okay. And now we will watch the 50-50-90 rule take effect. Alright, we'll let that cool down. And we'll stop here regardless. Oh yeah, my battery. It's going to be charged up now. Turn that off. Alright, we'll cool down, test. John Paul says, I think that's the wrong way. Of course. Alright. This is why you need young interns with perfect eyes and tiny fingers. Yeah, my eyes are the worst. Should have scratched it before removing, probably. If two people pick opposite options, does that cancel out the 90% wrong? Nope. It always applies. 50-50-90 has no exceptions. It's just the way it is. It's 90% likely to fail entirely. Both are wrong, yes. All right. So Paul Daniels, how far away do you live from Ben Duffy, who lives in Geelong? Let's see. All right, we're gonna test. Let's see. Test and go home. It is way later than I plan to be here, and my datas are definitely done. Yay! 4 people are going to be getting Easter resurrection of their dead devices, which is great. This guy, probably not. This guy's already been declared dead so many times. All right, now let's see the moment of failure coming up. So I still see my Apple logo, and it is still kind of not charging. So this says it is 0.11. That is way less than 1. Oh, it says welcome. What's going on with this? I think that having this on an extension cord is a bad idea. Let's unhook all this. Plug that in. And plug this in. 0.11. Still 0.11, which is pretty much the same as it was before, which kind of makes it still like a pet board. So exactly the same. It boots and it shows, wake it up. So it boots, it still shows 80% on the battery, and it is still consuming 0.1 amps steady. So it doesn't charge. It still doesn't charge. And that's the end of what I want to do with it today. So from there, with that one, that chip is really a toss-up because it's it's not marked in any way. But you could figure out, I think next you'd really need to just kind of measure what these signals are on a board that does charge. And then you could see whether, what are they supposed to be? Are they supposed to be a 0? Or are they supposed to be a 3.3? When? And map that out. And that way you could really compare and see what's up between a known good board. Also, the donor board that I took that from was missing a bunch of charging shit on it, so maybe that was a bad board to pick from a donor board. But there you go. All right, let's see. Let's see. 2,500 kilometers. That sounds far. That sounds really far. Just get 3 people, and at least 2 will be mostly wrong. So go with 3. That's a good idea. All right. Fuck. That's funny. But that's the thing with these when these projects are your pets, it's just like whatever. It's like they get so much work that it doesn't matter. Like they're just all little short projects. But my job is done over here, so I'm going to be done. Happy Easter to everybody, because I'm not going to stream again until after the Easter holiday, and it's going to be all eggs. And then after that, I'm going to Walt Disney World with the kids, so I'll be gone for a week. And maybe my team will stream something while I'm out of here. I'm serious about my YouTube live experience idea. I think that's great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you have any interest in signing up for that, then, give us a call. Call up Sunday, our business manager, and chat her up about it. And we'll see if we can come up with a way to make that work. Because I definitely want to do that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Have you seen the genius that built an iPhone 6s from scratch? I saw the video. I only watched like the first 10 seconds of it, but that's Wyman, right? Who, somebody already mentioned him in chat earlier. Love Wyman. Wyman's a fantastic guy. I can't wait to meet him in person one day. Definitely one day. Going to Florida. Yep, going to Florida. Yep. Okay, so we are gonna put Anthony Finch. No good news. You're dangerously close to becoming one of my pets, though. So usually I fix my pets, though, in the end. But we'll see. All right, everybody, have a great Easter, and I will see you all later.